If you find yourself questioning if a friend really likes you or if they are maybe jealous of you, that's probably a good sign that you're not around the right people. I am such a firm believer that if you put yourself in situations where you literally are forced to get to know people from scratch, the most beautiful people will be put into your life. I never would have known that I was around the wrong people until I put myself in a new environment and met new people who showed up for me in ways that I never even knew was possible. So the topic I wanted to talk about today is friendships. I actually had so many of you guys request the topic of friends, girlhood, friends in your 20s, adult friendships, and I just feel really like passionate about this topic because I think the concept of friendships and the concept of supportive friends really came about to me once I moved to Japan and met so many new people and people that I now call my best friends. It really just goes to show like someone that you've known for 5+ years versus someone you've just met and maybe you know for 3 months. This connection here can change your outlook on what friends are supposed to be like, and it is very much possible for this connection to show up in ways that you never saw in like a very long friendship. I think it's very okay and very normal to like drift apart with friends, have fallouts. I just recently posted this quote on my story as well, and I could not agree more. You don't even know the ways that you can be loved and supported unless you put yourself in those situations. Or like in this quote, like there are tables that exist that you don't even know that have a seat waiting for you. You just have to be able to put yourself in situations where you're exposed to like new people or like a new table, because sometimes if you're just constantly around the same people, especially people that you've known for your whole life, like if you met when you were younger in school or something, yes, you guys can all grow together, but I think sometimes it is necessary for you to like meet people from completely different worlds from you and realize that there are so many different ways in which friends can show up for you that maybe you've never actually experienced before. Like this is gonna get a little bit personal, and to be honest, I don't even really feel comfortable talking about it because I have so much love for these people still, and I feel like I probably played a role in like kind of drifting apart. I grew up through high school from year 8 to year 12. Why is my face so red? From grade 8 to grade 12, so literally the first junior year to senior year, I actually stuck with the exact same friendship group my whole high school experience. Yeah, we carry on being best friends like after high school as well for about 3 more years maybe. So like that was probably like an 8-year friendship group. Obviously we had our ups and downs, but I think, you know, we really like we thugged it out together, and I'm so grateful that we were all friends during that period. But moving abroad, I have to say, definitely tests your friendships. And now I don't keep in contact with them, and I would say that we probably all I kind of fell and drifted apart from the group. And I think when I first moved to Japan, it was actually really hard on me because, you know, I was going through a breakup at the time. I'm trying to adjust to a new country, like, and they were my only friends technically, like, that I could kind of rely on for support, but you know, like there was kind of none. Which, nobody owes you anything, yes. But now with the friends that I have in my life now, there were definitely things lacking in that friendship, and I never would have known that I was around the wrong people or I had outgrown a group of people until I put myself in a new environment and met new people who showed up for me in ways that I never even knew was possible. It's the same with dating. Like if you feel confused at any point if a guy actually likes you because maybe they're not replying to you or maybe they're not actually walking the talk and taking you out on dates like he promised to, like if you even have to question if somebody likes you, and that's the same with friendships as well. Like if you find yourself questioning if a friend really likes you or if they are maybe jealous of you, that's probably a good sign that you're not around the right people. I remember that was a really hard thing about my Japan experience when I first moved. Not only was I having a breakup at the time, I feel like I was also felt so alone. I guess I really didn't feel like I felt a lot of support from people that I'd known for so many years. But you know, like I'm not like angry about it or anything now. Like I feel like it was such an old thing like feels so long ago. And since then, like I've made so many new friends that have just like showed me in so many different ways what a supportive, loving, safe friendship really feels like. And I personally think one of the biggest reasons why I think everyone should move abroad and meet people from different parts of life, like moving into a share house, like I know I always talk about this, but moving into an international share house when I first moved to Tokyo might actually be one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life of living. I'm gonna say it, I think it's actually the best thing I've ever done for myself. And I say that because, you know, when you're in the same environment with the same people that you've known for years and years and years, you know everything about them, and you know all the struggles that they've gone through. You've kind of been there through it all, and nothing is new essentially. What being in an international share house in Tokyo kind of exposed me to was just access to so many different people, like people of all ages, people in their mid-20s, people in their late 20s, people in their 30s, people from all around the world with different kind of outlooks on life, different experiences, different hurdles, different challenges, and just so much wisdom. Like I have to say, like my friends are genuinely some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and like they inspire me every fucking day. Why do I feel like I could cry? I just love my friends so much. Genuinely. Like how often do you get to know people on a very intimate level who have had more life experiences than you, who are probably much more intelligent than you in terms of years of living? I was 22 when I first moved into that share house, and I think I was the youngest for a while until an 18-year-old came in. Everyone else was like 25 and up, and they're just like literally so inspiring to me, all of them. I think also the friends you make abroad are very different type of friends, because you're all essentially running away from your familiarity, running away from comfort, running away from your home, and you've chosen the most random city. And even though we're all so different and we come from such different cultures and lifestyles and jobs and all that, like we actually all have a common denominator, which is to move abroad and leave our home to experience and explore a completely new world. And with that comes a very lonely journey, moving away from family, moving away from friends. I think that's why you appreciate the friends you make abroad so much more, because you know that you're both here for the same reason, and you cherish connections so much more. Like I really did not take anything for granted, and I know my friends never did either. I feel like we were all so grateful to have found each other, met each other, just even the early days of just getting to know each other. Every little interaction is so special, because you just want to find your people when you're abroad. Find your people that makes the country you're living in feel a little bit more like home. I think that's also why like the quality of my friends that I've made in Tokyo are so rich. I think that's the biggest factor as to why the friends you make abroad, and when I say abroad I mean anywhere in the world, the friends you make abroad, especially if they're also living abroad, like expats on an exchange, you guys are bound to appreciate each other so much more, because you're already just trying to fit in, trying to find your people. And like going back to the topic of how like living in a share house was the best thing I ever did, I'll pop a video here of me visiting all of my friends that I made in my share house. But just to like set the scene, when I was on my one-way flight to Tokyo in August of 2022, I cannot make this shit up, I didn't know anyone in Tokyo. Like I didn't have friends there, I didn't have a friend already living there. I wasn't doing social media at the time, so I didn't even have mutuals to connect with online to like see once I moved to Tokyo. I really just had to trust the universe that either my job or my share house was gonna bless me with some beautiful people. And what do you know, I have best friends, I have older sisters that I never had, people that will be at my wedding. Like I just love them all so much. And prior to moving into my share house, I didn't know anyone outside of Australia. I don't have relatives in Europe or America or anything like that. Like all of my relatives, my immediate family are all in Australia, and relatives, grandma and stuff like that are all in parts of Japan. I really didn't know anyone outside of my own nationality, which is Australia and Japanese. Moving into that share house, I met my Spanish best friend Nadia. This tattoo here, this is my first and only tattoo, but that is her handwriting, and we got each other's handwriting tattooed on each other, I think 3 months of knowing each other. And it really just goes to show like the time you've known someone means nothing. Same with dating, Same with friendships. Someone that you've known for 3 months can make you feel things that you've never even felt in like a 5+ year friendship, you know? If you put the energy into friendships and be the friend that you would want to be friends with, it will be reciprocated and it will be appreciated. And if it doesn't, then that's when you know, okay, this is not a friendship that I need to put my attention into. And actually that's a beautiful thing when that happens, because it's one less person to worry about. Like, I'm such a firm believer on quality over quantity, although I think you can have quantity if they're actually genuinely meaningful to you. I don't think you should freak out if you have lots of different types of friends all in different parts of your life. I think that's totally okay. If you feel that your energy is not being reciprocated or you just don't align, then I think it's totally okay to pull away and let yourselves just be on different journeys. You also need to respect yourself enough to not invest so much of your time and energy into friendships that feel one way, or just like you don't feel necessarily great after hanging out with them. I think that's also a really good indicator. I always tune in with how I'm feeling after like a hangout with a friend. Do I feel good? Do I feel exhausted? Do I feel inspired? Do I feel like I could keep hanging out with them? That's a really good indicator to realize like if the people you're hanging out with are good for you or not. I think it's normal to feel a bit tired after a friendship hangout, but like if you genuinely feel like you were literally counting down the hours or something to go home, then girl, let's dial into that thought and realize why could that be. Also, another thing that I really like learned with the friends that I've made in Tokyo is like honest communication will never ruin a genuine connection. That could not be more true. And that's not like just with dating. I think actually in dating we're more able to communicate with our partners, because I feel like, you know each other so much more. It's very, you just like, it's your person, you know. And I think with friends it can be a little bit more tricky to draw that line when it comes to like drawing your boundaries or calling a friend out or communicating, hey, I didn't really like this, or hey, are we able to not do this again? You know, it's a lot more uncomfortable, I think, to like speak whatever it is that you're feeling or how you felt in a moment. But one thing I've learned through my genuine friendships that I've made in Tokyo is that if you bring up something that you are feeling because of something that the friend did, if it is a genuine connection and you both actually love and care for each other, it will never break you both. I've had 2 instances where I called a friend out because of like something, and basically they received it really, really well. You know, they apologized immediately and they changed their ways. Now that just seems like something that happened so long ago, because it just made us closer. And I also realized in that moment that it's okay for me to bring up how I feel, because she created such a safe environment for me to be able to bring up my own needs in that moment, and she received it so well and immediately apologized, which I think is such a green flag as well. Because like the thing is, if you hurt someone or you upset them in any way, you don't get to decide if you hurt them. If somebody says, hey, you hurt my feelings XYZ, that's not your place to defend yourself. You don't get to decide if what you did offended them. So I think if a friend or a partner immediately, you know, apologizes and owns up to what they did, even if maybe they have their reasons or they want it different, if they literally apologize, that's when they know they love and care about you. Because the worst thing that somebody wants to do to someone that they love is hurt them. So that was such a positive experience that came out of, obviously at the time was a negative experience. And another instance, when I was living with one of my girlfriends in the share house, she brought something up with me that was really making her uncomfortable at the time, and at the time I was just so shocked because, you know, she was taking it so out of context. That was because of like cultural differences, because in Japan, kind of witty humor, tsukomi is the word in Japanese, maybe doesn't exist so much in other countries or cultures. Whereas I think in Japanese, like tsukomi and ijiru is a very, very normal sense of humor here in Japan. And also I think I have a lot of like sarcasm in me as well from my Australian side. And yeah, like she brought it up with me, and at the time I wanted to defend myself and, you know, correct her that no, like that's not what it is, like you're taking this out of context. But it doesn't matter what I think. The truth of the matter is it upset her and it hurt her in the moment. So I obviously, you know, own up to my actions and apologize. And because there was just so many misunderstandings as well, I think it's very normal for things to like happen when you're living together. And actually, like, she is genuinely the older sister I never had, and I'm like the younger sister she never had. Like, we are like this now, and that experience just made us so much stronger. And I'm just like, now we both look back on that and think, damn, that was such a good experience that we needed to have, even though in the moment it felt like fucking hell. Like, I hate confrontation, I hate it so much. And at the time I was just like like so upset and frustrated because it was just such a cultural difference, but she took it in a very different way. So yeah, I think that's really big as well. True honest communication will never ever break a genuine connection. If you don't feel safe bringing up your feelings, you're probably not around the right people, because that's probably your body warning you like, hey, there's going to be negative consequences that are going to come from this, like beware. That's also a very big thing that I've learned with the friends that I've made in Tokyo this year and last year. Another thing that's been really apparent as well, I cannot be friends with insecure people, because insecure people are often jealous people, and people like that make it extremely difficult for you to bring up the good things in your life, good things that happen in a relationship, good things that happen with work, good things that happen just in general, like maybe you're traveling somewhere, like that's something to be excited about. And I think a really big thing that I've learned with some of the friends I've had is, yeah, like if you feel uncomfortable bringing up your wins, you're also probably not around the right people. If something good happens in one of my friends' relationships, like I am so happy for them, because sis, you deserve all the love and the princess treatment in the fucking world. It's like something to be celebrated for. And also with work as well, I think my nature of work is quite different, I guess, because it's working with brands, content creation, all that. I'm not boasting about my wins with social media to my friends, but I think if it's like a very big milestone, like maybe with a very well-known big brand, or for example when I first landed my first paid collaboration when I first moved to Japan back in 2022, I remember I was so over the moon, because it was just such a new concept to me. And yeah, like the friends at the time, literally crickets, silence. But I think that also is because Australia is very like tall poppy syndrome. Like meeting Europeans and just people from around the world in Tokyo, like I could not, the cultural difference is insane. I feel like in Australia you're commended for not trying and being laid back, and if you're trying too hard, and if somebody wins it's like, oh, that's weird. By Europeans, like I'm very celebrated, and I feel very safe sharing my wins with my friends. Like I'm not saying you have to go around boasting about all the good things that happen in your life, no, but if you're that close with a friend, I think it's normal to bring up like something good that's happened in your life. And if you don't even feel comfortable sharing that, then remove yourself out of there, respectfully, please. I think the key takeaways are definitely to put yourself in situations where you are exposed to more people, different kinds of people, just because I think the beauty of friendships is you get to learn so much from your friends and their own experiences. I think, you know, when you're dating a partner, everybody knows that you learn and grow together and you make each other a better person. I think that is so relevant to friendships as well. You want to be friends with like people who can uplift you, motivate you, inspire you, because I feel like the people you surround yourself with are the people that you naturally morph into. You really want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, and honest communication will never ever break a genuine connection. So always make sure that you're still setting out your boundaries, standing up for yourself. And also, if you're on the receiving end of a friend being upset with something that you've done, make sure that the first thing you do is just apologize. If you genuinely care about that person, the last thing you want to do is hurt their feelings, and you do not actually get to decide if you've hurt them or not. So always just own up to whatever it is that they're bringing up with you, because obviously I think everyone hates confrontation. I genuinely don't believe there are people who enjoy confrontation. Like I'm such a little bitch when it comes to stuff like that. So if I'm bringing up something with a friend or whatever, like it comes from a place of extreme discomfort. So yeah, just always respect that if a friend is bringing something up with you, it probably takes a massive toll on them as well. Oh, and also be the friend that you would want to have in your life. You know, it's all the little things, motivating them, giving them the push when they need it, remembering little things like birthdays, and creating a safe space for them to be able to like open up about their wins and positive progresses in their life. Because I think that's a very big one that a lot of friendships might struggle with, that I think everyone has probably experienced once in their life. I'm praying for you if you're in Australia, because the whole tall poppy syndrome I think is so real in Australia. But with all of this, my biggest takeaway is always going to be to move abroad at least once in your life. I think I always talk about Tokyo and Japan, but that's because that's my experience. But at some point I would love to go live over in Europe. I don't know where, maybe Spain, maybe Germany, maybe Switzerland, I don't know. But I am such a firm believer that if you put yourself out there and put yourself in situations where you literally are forced to get to know people from scratch, the most beautiful people will be put into your life. There is no alternate universe where you don't get rewarded with new connections and new people when you put yourself out there. With discomfort comes amazing rewards, and I think friendships and the concept of having friends in my 20s and like adult friendships, all of that has been one of the biggest blessings that I've had from moving abroad away from Australia. So yeah, I really encourage you, if there is a voice in your head that's thinking about leaving your country and pursuing something overseas, I hope you listen to that voice, because if you don't have kids right now, you really don't have any excuse. Or if you have to take care of a parent and be nearby them, if you do not fit into those two categories, you have no excuse. Things will always work out. You will find a job. Maybe it's not what you're doing right now in your home country, like a very stable 9-to-5. Maybe you'll pick up a hospitality job. Maybe you'll pick up retail. But I can assure you that the experiences and the people that you gain from putting yourself out there, even if that means abandoning a very prestigious like 9-to-5, that is so much more valuable than a salary. Like, this shit, you cannot put a price to it. Like, me visiting Europe for the first time in my life to visit people that I met in Japan in a share house, like miraculously, just out of luck, you cannot put a price on that. And the friendships I've gained from moving to Japan and being exposed to people who are, you know, older than me and wiser than me and so intelligent, so inspiring, I can no amount of money can buy me that. And I think, you know, you can't have the cake and eat it too. You have to sacrifice something in order to gain something new. But that's when like the universe comes into play, you know, whatever you want to refer it to. There is always someone somewhere out there who will reward you for taking risks. And I think meeting new people and making them your friends, even best friends, family, sisters, that is like, I feel like that's just one of the most beautiful things that we get to experience as humans. I think it's so cool that there are people that you don't even know right now who live in another continent that you could actually get along with and actually call your best friend. Like, before I met all of the people I met in Tokyo, like at some point we were all existing in different parts of the world, different time zones, speaking different languages. But I just think it is so amazing how all of us can actually probably get along with people around the world. You just have to be able to meet them. And that comes from putting yourself in situations where different people are gonna be there, like a share house, moving abroad, a very like international kind of company with lots of offices around the world. I think there are so many ways to meet lots of people. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like I've covered so many random topics about friends, but I hope this inspired you, gave you a little bit of insight on how I like to maintain really deep and meaningful friendships to me, and how to distinguish the ones that probably aren't worth your time. As always, thank you so much for watching again. I really do like yapping and just talking about things I'm really passionate about, so hopefully I will see you in the next yapping series. I hope you have the best day wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next one.
Only there on weekends, just looking for a reason.